It's time for another batch of Roundup reviews, where I go over 3 games I've played recently. Forgive my voice, I'm still a bit sick. First up is Cocoon, an artistic indie puzzle game from the designers of Limbo and Inside, 2 games that I really recall enjoying when I played them. The visuals are good, if not mind-blowing, and the core mechanic is about using planets inside of planets inside of planets to solve puzzles. Something that I'm sure is meant to bring the player to climax when it happens in gameplay for the first time, like a child watching Chris Angel's Mind Freak. It's quite a unique mechanic that gets more interesting as it goes on when each planet gets different side effects based on which boner pills it swallowed during the surprisingly good boss fights. There's just one measly little problem I encountered with the puzzles in this puzzle game, and that is, unfortunately, that the puzzles are completely fucking trivial. Fair's fair, having 3, 4, and even 5 worlds to navigate at any given point could have led to a downward spiral of confusion where one road bump quickly becomes a road mountain as you get lost within your multiple worlds, but come the fuck on. It's always instantly obvious what to do at every single point in the game. I never once felt clever, which in a puzzle game is all I ask for to counterbalance me being an idiot for the rest of the day. When the puzzles aren't challenging, they cease to be puzzles at all, they're just tedium. And that's exactly how I felt at the big twist when, spoilers, we jump out of the main area we've been in to reveal yet another world. I felt like groaning because I knew I was going to have to walk in a straight line for another 40 minutes, periodically switching which ball I'm carrying, hitting one of those 5-digit code puzzles where all the answers are quote-unquote hidden in the immediate area. It's only about 3 hours long and still somehow overstays its welcome. But as to whether or not I recommend it, it's got a novel concept that might be worth checking out. And if you've got Game Pass, you might as well. Next up is Mineko's Night Market, a game where you're a Japanese kid who moves to a small rundown Japanese town. Japanese games tend to have a unique quirk to them, so I am excited to see what... Hold on a minute. What's that Canadian flag doing there? Oh, I see. It's a Western game inspired by Japanese culture. You know what that means, everyone? Gats and fucking sakura flowers as far as the eye can see. Anyway, Mineko's Night Market, you play as a little girl who moves to a dwindling town in a distant island, so even the very real talking point about towns in the Japanese countryside being abandoned in favor of major cities sails merrily over the developer's head. That's the thing about these games being inspired by other cultures, though, isn't it? They always fail to capture the true intricacies of the culture and go for the most surface-level depiction imaginable. Surface level is a word that sprang to mind more than once throughout my playthrough, but the gameplay too, it's all so facile. You collect token flowers to craft token items that have no use other than to sell at the titular night market, or to give as gifts to the token NPCs to boost the token friendship meter. And of course, there's token force stealth sections against the token FBI faction who mouth off about how much they love ramen noodles and One Piece and Unit 731 and everything else in the Foreigner's faintly racist handbook. It's meant to be a cozy game, but even as a cozy game, it fails at every imaginable level because the way that every single mechanic feels tacked on with no real care. Mechanics simply thrown in because other games did it. There's no ambition, no innovation. It's like if someone tried remaking Stardew Valley on fucking scratch. So what does an innovative game in this genre of crafting and collectibles cozy game look like to you, Meta? Well, viewer, I was just about to tell you before you rudely interrupted me, it's Little Witch in the Woods. 2 asterisks though, it came out last year and it's in early access. As it stands, the story is woefully incomplete. But that's fine, it's not really that interesting. I wish someone would have told that to the person writing the introduction so we didn't have to slog through ages of fucking dialogue to get to the actual gameplay. But you know, I'm often accused of being a serial story skipper, and I take great offense to this. I don't hate stories. I'm a writer. I love making stories. What I hate are stories that are boring and poorly written. The story so far of Little Witch in the Woods may be boring, but the dialogue makes up for it. It is not poorly written. The banter between the titular Little Witch and her hat kept me amused. So it's already got one leg up on Mineko. Let's boost that other leg up there so it can stand atop Mineko as it sinks face down in the wet cement. The gameplay is fun. You make potions with collected ingredients, which are limited by your daily stamina, but unlike in Mineko, the flowers aren't just scattered around waiting to be picked. Sometimes you need bunny fur, which requires you to sneak up behind the little bastards. Or you need a firefly, which can only be caught at night with the net. The game escalates with harder to get ingredients, like the mandrakes that require you to make a soundproof potion, which requires its own ingredients to brew, in order to withstand the mandrake screams after being picked. You can still get mandrakes without it, but you'll pass out if you pick more than one, so the game naturally incentivizes you to use the potion without outright forcing you. There's only one thing that stops me from recommending the game, and that's the fact that it's still in early access. Once I hit the end and I got hit with that rather abrupt stop sign to the face, I felt really upset, because I loved the game and I wanted more of it, but it's been getting updated about as consistently as I've been getting laid. So I'll recommend the game once it's fully finished, which should be right around the time that the fucking sun explodes.